When I went to coding, I went when I was 17. Degree was 17. You started to say. You can crack IAS. Yeah. Because I think I can do yes. Or foreign. I don't think IAS is Indian foreign service. IAS. Yes. After they put all the countries and get embassy. Yeah. Immigration people get more money they don't. Depends. Is there right of me for me? Yeah. How do you get it? You can. Right? My second wish does not have oh. Even JE does no estimate, no? I don't guess it. 23 or right on. Teaching is different, like studying is simply right. So I was sleeping. You can give the seat to someone else. You can't do what you want. Okay, we stop where? Oxidation, no, reduction, no? Oxidation. Two reactions. Hey, two types done. Should do alpha. No, oxidation done. Oh, reduction. Oh. So heading as oxidation. Tomorrow, college morning. All colleges. What yeah? Full day. I thought of keeping up in the afternoon affiliation block, but yeah, holiday or so at home. 12:30 gets take over. 4:30 is fine, then. Alex, no college tomorrow. Going home. That's possible, but I'm thinking if I finish off today, I'll finish off the chemical properties of this thing, which means aldehydes and ketones done. Tomorrow's class will do carboxylic acid. I will take one class, but by chance I will require an extra class. I will finish on the Sunday morning. So I'm thinking. Next week when you will I think Monday I record the meeting and send it out Tuesday. On Monday, I try to record the Tuesday's class. Thursday and Saturday take on. Okay. Tuesday I said. What do you want on what chapter? See, this weekend I'll finish off this one. What do you call it? Biomolecules of biomolecules you won't be able to understand because if I do this online, how will you be able to understand? Electrochemistry, what is? Oh, electrochemistry. Something interesting. You tell some. It will come for math something. No, you should tell me your question. Based on that question, we'll see. No, we didn't finish the job. We started. LPP law. I think it's easy for me to explain that on the video. Yeah. I'll give you 4 types or 3 types. Only those 3 will come. First 2 you will understand. See, those 3 types I'll do. In that first question only will come. Just like I gave for that. What was the function which I gave for the relation function? 4x. Whatever. Just that I'll give you this also. In LPP, you are either supposed to maximize or minimize. Only these 2 things will be because other things have been taken off of the syllabus. I'll give you a sample question. It goes like this: C is equal to 4x plus 3y. The same question I take example. So I'm either supposed to maximize it or minimize it depending on the question. I'll teach you both of them. So this is type 1, this is type 2. With the same question I'll teach you. Okay. Now understand. To brief it out, this specific concept is a graph. Okay. Common sense. For you guys to draw a graph, you're supposed to require some points. They won't give you the points because the equation is given to you. So based on the equation, you're supposed to find the points. Once you find the points, plot the points. Once you plot the points, you're going to test the points. This is the last step. Okay. There's a hint here. So this is how it goes. It's a graph. To draw the graph, I need the points. How do I find the points? Using the equation. After you find the points, you plot the points. Once you plot the points, you test the points. Okay. And always remember, your testing point is always origin. Always. So how do we represent origin in terms of numbers? 0, 0. That's it. Any doubt in these steps? That's all. So if you're able to understand this specific concept, next step is once you follow all these things, a graph will be done. Once you draw the graph, the last part is shading. For shading only, we require testing. Once you test it, I'll tell you on the video as to how to shade. Okay, that's how it works. So I think, yeah, all this. So that comes here only. We're trying to find it. Fine. So we'll do that on the thing. Make sure whatever I'm teaching, don't do it on the regular books. Use a graph sheet. Okay, so that you guys get used to it. And more obviously, I'm not trying to fill up like 5 to 6 questions. I'm only giving 2 or 3 types, no more than enough. You should, if you use the graph, you'll have a feel as to how the shading works. Plotting everybody will do. There's absolutely zero confusion in that. It's just that shading will take some little skill it takes. That skill also is easily acquired. Not a problem at all. So make sure you guys use the graph and try to plot that. Any doubts in there? No. But today I'll finish off the aldehyde ketones part, and tomorrow we'll do the carboxylic acid part. Please do not miss tomorrow's class because carboxylic acid alone is very important. Before talking about today's class, we'll start with oxidation. We'll revise whatever happened in yesterday's class for a second. Just close your books. Let's try to recall it as to how the order went. So basically, we're trying to learn about chemical properties of aldehydes as well as ketones. Again, okay. Under this, there are 5 types. The first type is always nucleophilic substitution reaction. Cool. What was the hint? The other day I told you. Hey, what is the hint for nucleophilic reaction? What happens in nucleophilic reduction? It breaks down into plus and minus. That's the hint. We'll talk about those reactions. Under that also. But let's go to the next step. The next step is redox. Second type is reduction. Third type is oxidation. Fourth one is alpha hydrogen, also called as aldol reaction. Obviously, today's class I'll be doing aldol. I'll give you the spoiler as to what is the meaning of aldol. This is not how you write. You're not supposed to put a hyphen, but aldol meaning a combination of aldehyde and an alcohol together in the product part. Whether that's how it works. So your product should have an aldehyde, which means you're supposed to see CHO there. Along with it, you're also supposed to see what? All, meaning OH. So CHO and OH, if it is present on the same concept, then that specific thing is called as aldol. Okay. Now, self-aldol and cross-aldol, both the things are there, but I know that it's much more simpler. So, to repeat, nucleophilic reduction, nucleophilic, redox, then alpha hydrogen, last one is Cannizzaro reaction. So, 5 types. Yesterday's class, we learned about the first 2 types. The first type says nucleophilic reduction. If the hint was break it down to plus or minus. How many reactions did we learn under that? 4. Okay, 4. The first one, all the 4, the left hand side, or one of the reactants is nothing but carbonyl group. The reason we left both of them empty is because you can either make it as an aldehyde or a ketone depending on your choice. Now, you take a carbonyl group, first reaction, try to think over it. We add what? HCN, some sort of cyanide. Now just tell me one thing, what breaks down? Carbonyl group or the cyanide group, HCN group? The HCN breaks down to form H plus as well as Cn minus. Now automatically since this group, the double bond also breaks. Once the double bond breaks, what's the hint? Sun rays. Left hand side, 2 bonds, right hand side, 2 bonds. Out of which, on one of the bonds, O will go and sit. O always carries a what charge? Negative charge. And moreover, what's the rule? Wherever oxygen goes, how many bonds follow? 2 bonds follow. One is already there. It attracts whom? H or Cn minus? H. In the fourth bond, what comes and sits? Cn comes and sits. Called as? Product is called as cyanohydrin. Remember this. Okay? Cyanohydrin. That was the first concept. First reaction under nucleophilic. Second reaction, any idea? We are trying to NaHSO3. Again, in this case, it breaks down to form what and what? Na plus as well as HSO3, 1 minus. Fine. This the double bond breaks, becomes like sun rays. On top, O is there, on below, nothing is there at this point of time. NaHSO3 breaks down to form what and what? Na plus as well as HSO3, 1 minus. You tell me, O attracts who? Na. So it becomes ONA. In the last part, SO3 or SO3H? SO3H. I told you one reason. Why not SO3? Because carbon present is hydrogen. It only takes the hydrogen part and take off the SO3 part. But that's not what we wanted. Do we stop there or do we go one step further? We hydrolyze. Meaning we add hydrolysis. Meaning water. Once we add water, what happens? H plus as well as OH minus. Then what happens? What happens? Does the SO3H change? Or what happens? What's the next one? That's hemiacetal or acetal will be formed when it is reacted with alcohol.
Na gets removed, H gets added.
And forms what?
OH.
Then
Na gets
what's the next one? We add with next reaction. RO, it's also called as alcohol. Same reaction happens. R, whatever. OH minus. If the reaction right now becomes OR and OH. That product has a name. Hemiacetal. Do we stop there? No. Well, I have a small question. Do we add alcohol again or do we add water? We add alcohol again because in the end part also we want OR. Okay, got the logic? We wanted OR, which means if I add water, there is no R in water. So only alcohol has R there. So since we wanted OR twice, once I achieved it, once more if I want to achieve it, I'll use the same thing again. So basically, I'm supposed to show two steps here, not a single step. So first you get hemiacetal. Using the hemiacetal, you again add alcohol. It breaks down, and both the bases becomes OR and OR. We have a new name. It's called as acetal. Now, by chance, instead of using an aldehyde, if I use a ketone, then the name will change. Semi-ketal, then ketal. Getting it as to how it works depends on the carbonyl group. If you want to put R and R, then it will be hemiketal and as well as ketal. If you're adding one R and one H, it will be hemiacetal as well as acetal. That's how it works. Keep this in mind. Okay. This was the last one more thing we solved. Okay, Grignard reagent we solved. Again, Grignard reagent, the reason we find it supposed to be important is because when the Grignard reagent breaks up, R gets a minus, MgX gets a plus. Now you guys know how it works. Again, my only question is that when we are using Grignard reagent, is it a two-step process or a one-step process? It's a two-step process. Okay, first step, what's going to happen? O is there. O attracts soon. O attracts soon, MgX. Automatically, here what comes and sits? Only R comes and sits. We'll keep that there. Now, OMgX is there. That's the first part. To get the second part, we add something. Do we add alcohol this time or do we add water? We add water. Water breaks down to form H plus as well as OH minus. And this MgX part, answer my question properly. This MgX part attracts to H plus or OH minus? Okay, MgX part attracted to OH minus, and OH minus comes and sits between them. What's the reason I told you? It requires love from both the sides. Therefore, the answer will be MgOHX. That whatever was the next to O, what goes and sits? H goes and sits. Forms alcohol. Need not tell you. So all these four reactions we discussed right now came under which type? Nucleophilic substitution reaction. The second type we learned was reduction. Okay, under reduction we learned 6 reactions. But I told you, since reduction comes under 2, this is the second type. How many answers are you expecting? 2 types of answers. The first type will be what? Alcohol. Second type will be alkane. Can I put a single bond there? Alkane is what? Single bond only, no? So alcohol as well as alkanes are formed. Now, there are 3 reactions under alcohols. There are 3 reactions under alkanes. Fine. Now, ignore alcohol for a second. Only the alkanes part, let's talk about this. Out of 3 things, there were 2 named reactions. Remember this. One is Clemenson's reaction, one is Wolff-Kishner reaction. Whatever it is, both the products were the same. Agree? In fact, all the 3 products were the same. Now, I'll go to the next slide. For alkanes, for the formation of alkanes, ANES, you guys give me 2 named reactions. One is called as Clemenson's reaction, one more is called as Wolff-Kishner reaction. Now, for Wolff-Kishner's reaction, what is the catalyst? NH2, NH2. Perfect. Okay. This is called as Wolff-Kishner reaction. Gives the same alkanes. We had one more thing called as Clemenson's reactions. For Clemenson's reaction, what's the product? Zinc amalgam. With what? Hg. Amalgam meaning obviously it is always with mercury only. Okay. So zinc amalgam is called as Clemenson's reactions. Okay. What was the hint I gave you for Clemenson's? I guess amalgam is you flop. Send the video. Okay. What happened? It's no. No. I asked you to talk about it. So what happened? When I reached, I have fun.
35 minutes we spent on one road.
Where?
It's Tiento, you know?
Theater.
Tiento.
Tiento. You come through that way? What's wrong with you? Who comes through that way?
Not one day we come this way. The other way.
And that experience, right? Okay, fine. So Wolff-Kishner or Clemenson's, both of them are giving the same alkanes. There was one more, but it was not a named reaction. For that, what was the catalyst? Hey, HI with red phosphorus. All these three things give me the same thing called as alkane. Any doubt till here? Again, this also is reduction. I told you on small part here, the heat type, how to remember. R, C, R you put. In between, in this C, whenever carbon goes, how many bonds follow? 4 bonds follow, out of which 2 bonds already there. How many more bonds required? 2 bonds. I blindly put H2 here. It's called as an alkane. So all the three answers I'm getting RCH2R, RCH2R, RCH2R. That's why it's called as alkanes. Okay, that's the formation of alkanes. Now, this is the first type. The second type, help me get the answer as alcohols. Under alcohols, any named reactions there? Huh? Think. Any named reactions over there? Okay, the left hand side I'll give you. Start it like this. No named reactions. Direct answers. Okay. So how do you get the answer as? I told you alcohols, but since alcohol is required, you wanted OH. Again, this alcohol formation happens under what concept? Reduction. Reduction meaning we're gonna add H2. I told you when it is formation of alcohol, distribute the H to both C as well as O. That's what I told you, correct? So you write R, C, R dash as it is. This C was attached to O. I cut off the double bond because I wanted alcohol. Next to O, what should I put so that it becomes alcohol? H. Reduction meaning addition of hydrogen, H2, out of which I used up one H. Where will the one more H come and sit? Next to C. This is the answer for all the three products. I mean, all the three reactions. Any doubt till now? No? So, the same flow, we'll learn the next concept called as oxidation. Lithium aluminum hydride only is used most of the time because of oxidation. Sorry, reduction. Wherever hydrogen is being added, all those places we either use nickel or palladium. Yeah, remember this. I was a big fan of writing nickel. It's easier for me to. Okay, so it depends on you. Lindlar's catalyst we learned. What is Lindlar's catalyst? Palladium mixed with CaPS. But this Gattermann-Coase reaction we learned the other day. We start with Gattermann. Sounds complex. What was the first complex compound you guys learned in organic chemistry? We draw the benzene. Again, the second word is COCH. I want the answer in. My answer is CHO. So first, one second. First, I write the answer. CHO. Can I ignore this? I can't ignore this. These are called as catalyst, obviously. You guys know it. CO and H is there. Wherever HCl is there. Remember?
The previous year, and then just like plus required just
Very well.
previous year. Proton is required.
Here.
Just a proton is required.
Correct.
So carbon monoxide and H plus.
Oh, why HCl delay? Okay. What is the source of proton? For example, if I ask you to give me a proton, you can't give. You'll either ask me to use an acid or use H3O plus. Hydrolysis. How does this form? H2O and add H plus to it. This is one of the sources of it. So more than giving, this is what is being used. But what is the source of it? Getting it? Yeah. So if I tell, give me some water, I know that you're giving me water, but the water has to have some kind of source. No, without the source, there's no water. So what you write is the source. Without the source, production of H plus is impossible. So it has to be. So next heading, oxidation. Again, under oxidation, we learn around 4 things. Out of 4 things, 3 have named reactions. So we start off the left hand side with an aldehyde. R3 double bond O single bond H. No, till now, all those parts. I mean, in the last like 5 to 10 minutes, we covered almost all the reactions spoken about in aldehyde till now. Okay. Okay, this is on the left hand side. Aldehyde. In 10th, you have learned one thing. No, when you oxidize aldehyde, we form what? Oic acid. Carboxylic acid will be formed. Correct. So I understand one thing. Nascent oxygen is a very strong oxidizing agent. Remember this. So which means aldehyde is able to oxidize the strong one. Getting it? Which means anything weaker comes in its way, it will easily be able to oxidize. Pathological how it works. So this is a strong opponent. It can still beat the strong opponent and form the product. In this case, it will be oic acid. COOH. I have no space, but make sure you guys draw the structure. How does the structure look like? R, C double bond O, single bond OH. I'll pause for a second. Look at this for a second. We are using oxygen or nascent oxygen. Nascent oxygen because that's what we're supposed to use. Now, don't you think I'm just taking that O and placing it on this? Next to H. I'm not doing anything else. Just like the way I did for what do you call it? This one. Reduction. What did I do? I took H2, placed it next to C. That's all. Same concept here. I'm taking the O and placing next to H here. That's all. So that I'm getting my answer as oic acid. Make sure you guys don't write the molecular form. Always write the structural form. It's easier for you guys to remember. Now understand here. The first thing is always strong. It's a very strong oxidizing agent. It could beat the toughest opponent, which means 2, 3 as well as 4 will always be named reactions. These named reactions, the reason I call it as named reactions is because the reactant what I'm trying to use that has a name. For example, Tollens reagent, Fehling solution, Benedict solution, all these things. So it is easier for me as a question paper setter, instead of me trying to type CH2 whatever, I can easily type it in English saying Fehling solution, or because it's straightforward English. These kind of questions will be asked in terms of observations rather than equations. Okay. See, equation also can be asked, but what is asked more extensively is observations. Remember this. So 2, 3, and 4, all of them are named reactions, named reagents. Fehling's, Tollens, and Benedict solution. Any doubt here? Which means 1, 2, 3, 4, very important. The reason I'm trying to put this under 2, 3, and 4 is because I'm just trying to prove you that aldehyde could take on a strong opponent called as nascent oxygen and still get an answer. Which means getting an answer with respect to this is actually much more simpler compared to the first one. No doubt? Copy this. Write the heading as Tollens reagent for the next one, Tollens, and the next one is Fehling's. The last one is Benedict solution. Usually Benedict won't be asked, so, but still. This one. Everything is important. I think Danish can you put up the PDF on the group, if you're free, the white teacher said. Just put up the properties part. Like every both. Yeah, Tollens, Fehling, I think it will have around 3 pages each. Okay, don't want the reaction, only the properties. Alcohol. You have the thing. Guys, the thing is, if you're able to have all properties in one PDF, it makes life much easier.
The products are the same.
No. Here, two products are not required. It's an observation. No. Guys, always remember here. One second. Wait. Whenever aldehyde reacts with Tollens reagent, silver mirror is formed. You know how silver mirror looks like? I've seen a mirror, the backs of a mirror. Once the mirror cracks, there will be a silver coating there. Yeah. Exactly. It is not transparent. It is silver in nature. Getting it? Getting it? So here, a silver mirror will be formed. Okay. Both Fehling and Benedict. Strong. And one more thing. Tollens, Fehling, as well as Benedict, all these 3 things are mild oxidizing agents. So that's the whole point. If the aldehyde is able to tackle a strong oxidizing agent, it will easily be able to tackle the mild ones. And in fact, not only tackle, it is trying to give us some kind of hint also here. Silver mirror and it's not. Both these things, reddish brown precipitate. Reddish brown precipitate will be seen in both of them. Silver mirror meaning obviously Ag will be the precipitate curve. It will be here, it will be copper. But that's how it works. Because reddish brown is usually what metal? Copper metal, silver mirror, again it. Getting it?
There's no product form.
The product form will be Ag, others will be ions. So since Ag is formed so dominantly, it will form a silver mirror.
Result.
A resultant, yeah. You don't expect you can extract silver from it. No, that's a different silver. In 10th standard, did you have metallurgy?
Yes.
You had something called pig iron? Iron, but not pure. So that kind of. So you can't sell this. Silver is a metal which can go up in value, no? But you can't scrape this anywhere because it is more grayish in nature. It's wrong appearance. So you can't do it. Hey, chemistry alone the subject is very deep. And
It's difficult.
what's the point? I'm telling you, if you're getting into, see, you are thinking in terms of an engineer's perspective. Because your parents have told you. Let's say if you have no idea, you might also have, let's say, pharmacy as an option or whatever as an option. Hey, you go to a hospital, what is happening on you is completely chemical in nature. There is absolutely zero to which I mean, unless you go to an Ayurvedic clinic. No, seriously. You go to hospital, what was being injected on you? If you apply face cream, what is it? Salicylaldehyde is acid. Salicylaldehyde is used as a cleanser. You will see everything is chemistry. In fact, there'll be contracts of 3 years. For example, Biocon, that woman stays in Lavelle Road. Kiran Majumdar shop, her name is. She owns Biocon. They in Biocon, there is one separate section called as R&D. Obviously, everything you have. They'll have contract for 3 years. So 3 years, they'll only be trying to apply the cream on some kind of rats to check. Seriously, not kidding. Seriously, there's one more company called as Eli Lilly. It's called Eli Lilly. Okay, it's a very all the girls who will learn because make up crazy it is. I mean, all these Lakme and all, no, they hire from them. They take these products from them. Hey, it is on the US stock market. That's how big the company is. And see, India, what do you think is the biggest business? It's hospital. That's what people tell. But it's a pharma. Pharma is what? It's completely chemical. It's like crazy. And if you in engineering, there'll also be a small branch called as medical engineering. People used to wonder what medical engineering or biotech engineering. So these people, when you give for blood test, they're keeping that blood in specific in a machine. That machine is connected to a computer, which is giving you some kind of result. That machine who's building and engineer is making it. So these people will learn as to how the thing is being. So if you go to the labs, 2 machines will be there, and they'll tell 2 hours it will take for a report to come by 2 hours because the machine is going to do some work there. That's why it takes around 2 hours. It's a crazy depth thing. I'm telling you, pharma is booming in India. I mean, already booming in India. It's just that people are not aware of it, or maybe so much of knowledge is not. People hate chemistry. It's a pain in the ass. How much you tend to learn unless you go to depth of it. See, for example, let's say you only had alcohol for your exam, for a final exam. You have looked at it. Because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you don't know what to spend. I mean, where to spend most amount of time. But if you are not exposed to so much of knowledge right now, you will not know what to do in the future. That's also.
Why would you do MSc in chemistry?
To be a head of a pharma company. In the sense, not own it. Let's say you have a R&D department under you. They'll come and report to you. But nowadays,
Or a teacher or
no, that is required for them now. The Jain College people right now, when I went the other day, they told, we want an MSc degree in whatever subject you like, so that we want a teacher. Yeah. But they feel that you will have more knowledge when you become when you learn MSc. This bullshit. You know, very big solution.
No. It's coming up with something.
You don't come with anything, right?
I'm good at actually.
So what do you come up with this?
Fiber related FIBR.
That's why we are eating. Okay.
Same. PR is what it is from.
Okay.
Yeah. It is from
Uh,
the water
FI.
FIBR. So this F is spelling that then it is this. So it is from this.
What works for you?
Probably this knowledge is about chemistry, which will be like this. Because it's more difficult.
Actually, not even.
People are like doctorate in math.
Yeah, my engineering math teacher was a PhD.
So how much did you pay in engineering college for being a lecturer?
No. It's more. 15. I think it's
What PhD teachers in labs, on lab.
no.
If you are working for an institute like having
In school, college,
Schools match. Not most possible. I have no idea.
you work in
I went for 1 hour. One hour, not part time. 1 hour. No part time. You stay there. No.
1 hour, 15 minutes of it.
No, 15 minutes of class. I know, but they're crazy. Boys are very good.
All that good.
Hey, no, that batch was all half the people from St. Joseph's.
So Joseph. So from
Saint
Joseph they came to
Yeah, half St. Joseph's. Not even kidding. Hey, the crowd, that batch. I mean, not talking about but the class which I was. That was super. Half Catalonians, half Josephites here and then some is.
Yes, they come back.
I have no idea. They call yeah, was also welcome. So, none of this. Flip to the last page. Last page. Write all the three: nucleophilic, reduction, and oxidation. But start with oxidation. No, do one thing. Start with nucleophilic only. Correct. End with oxidation.
Finish nucleophilic.
Shut up and write now. No, you should write. Don't even look at the. So try to revise nucleophilic meaning 4, reduction meaning 6, oxidation meaning 4. Correct? Write everything. Huh? Right. Hey, now I have only 2 reactions left. One is aldol, canism. 15 minutes finish off. Shut up and write. Hey, Ashwin, Edra. Wait. Go to 30 Other day,
That day again, 1999 the last day.
Starting question that wrong.
Class with Hello, nucleophilic.
Start with HCl.
C and that's it's C and
What do you think?
What do you ask?
HSO3.
What do you ask the second? Yeah.
no ROH you have to add.
Shut up and you keep asking anything. What will you do?
What do you have to add?
For ROH? No, okay, ROH. What's wrong with you?
That's the easiest. It will become 2R1.
No.
Why is
One,
it?
one,
One.
one. You will solving C in class.
You actually listening to music is useless.
There are 2 questions is solved.
I don't go to anyway, I'm not tomorrow. No, go with the
You fucked it up more, don't share.
Structures of genuine girls.
Which teacher is it?
Math.
Which teacher is it?
My actually saying the math is a bitch.
The guy.
Your wife is there.
Don't know.
10 and all.
How do you know?
Full hair will be.
What?
He doesn't have hair.
So,
So, Alex. That's it, Alex. And is it on my phone? There's a touch one for a job.
It also shows big no.
Yeah, that guy left the college.
I wonder why.
That guy left the college. That's my mistake. That guy bit off.
By mistake. You already you keep doing it by mistake. Always.
What's wrong with this guy? What a hard word.
He got dropped in front. He told the principal asked the welfare officer how is he in class. Compared to last year, his mind is on the ground. But we'll see what he will do. No,
No, you started with video parents account.
didn't tell anything.
5K. 5K.
Hey, beggars are that fellow. He'll take 10K, he'll take it, get them on.
I'm not getting 1,000 on this.
Great, Andra.
People on the full road and there nonsense.
Ooh.
Last year, last time, that's not it.
They hot my phone also. I thought taking only and rain.
Very college.
Oh no, hands on it.
Ah,
And I can't know what we deal. Nobody.
Vedan.
Only one name.
Learn to respect each other.
You want my video now.
Try once.
See what Stephen walks to me from there. On the way. He took some biryani from there. I was walking with him. My name. I was walking. So she asked some random thing I was telling him. Actually, the file by PG girls. PG girls. PG girls. You hear the video.
Sit down after the
Hey, reduction, oxidation, right?
Yeah, that
Reduction.
the reaction side.
Clemens and Wolf-Kishner and just now we learned. Wolf-Kishner is NH2NH2. Clemensen is zinc amalgam, Hg. And the last one has no name. It is Hi with red phosphorus. Three answers will give alkanes. The remaining three will give alcohol. Well, that's the whole point. If you don't know, flip and learn of it right now. Useless fellow.
No, but aldehydes and ketone only one question of 2024.
For how much? How many marks?
CET.
Only one.
Yeah, mine also one.
Hey.
Actually, alcohols 3,
What is for alcohol only?
alcohols 3, haloalkanes 5, haloalkanes are actually 5.
Yeah, right. Five.
Yeah.
I saw carboxylic acid, amine, and the other one, the ether.
But hydrocarbons are 2.
5 questions.
Hydrocarbons 2 are. Much closer. Yeah,
I only one. One about variable.
I'll get the book.
So, what college is that? You got it. No, I thought, but these people have full day. We are after album, no? What? What do you mean after that? What's it? What's one?
Yeah, you want to explain.
After that?
I can't talk to
What? What we should do?
People are not there. Sleep.
Tell them what happened.
What? Oxidation? Alex, oxidation done. Ashwal,
Second.
set. Fine. Anna, fine. What are you doing? This one? First two? Okay, now. What happened? Be a lot. Apana, not writing. Hey! Oh, actually, yeah. You're doing fun, eh? What? Not writing over again, asking. Check that. Waiting. He's playing around there.
I wrote amine also.
What the fuck? What? All four?
Or it is a Clemens reaction.
In there. But then. Ah, correct. That's. Tolerance spellings and it's the reactant's name. Catalyst. So they'll ask you what happens when tolerance reagent reacts with aldehydes or Fellings with aldehydes or whatever with aldehydes.
So MgOH X is the
You
byproduct.
should write silver mirror is formed. Reddish brown precipitate C. Hey, you sent out that video. So many hints are given in that. Ah, correct. Good at it. Guys, it's okay. I'll send one video of the same mandates and ketones. Same thing. It seems that I've given a lot of hints for every reaction. I forgot. Okay, you'll send the video. I'll send it on the group. Make sure it is save the download the video and give off. He'll have access because he's uploading on the drive.
I'll put it off on the record. Everyone has it.
Wow.
Yeah, everyone has it. I don't know. You did 10 of it. Rowan was much good at it.
Little less catalyst. Second reaction. What's that? Second reaction. Gatterman coach is COHCl. Hey, check where is the last catalyst being used? Which reaction? Rosenberg. You get answer acetyl chloride. That's the point. Acetyl chloride.
It's not reagent, it's byproduct.
Actually,
Vision.
MgOH is byproduct.
but not hydroxy magnesium halide. Okay, remember that. Important. Note at all. Yeah. Iodoform test is used to distinguish. Iodoform test is used to distinguish between foam, FOR and not FOAM. Between other form test is used to distinguish between both of them. Hey.
FOR.
Chloroform you will tell or chloroform you will tell?
Oh,
How do you spell chloroform?
FOA. You told you nailed that.
Little bit nothing will happen.
Where? With movement.
What with you? You'll get that spray everywhere. What? Yeah. Chloroform.
What are these?
Kidnap.
Axis.
Yeah, you go. Yeah, you blank out actually. In the sense you'll be unconscious for maybe like a.
Right?
Depends on how much quantity. You see in all these mobile shops, they use that spray.
Yeah.
So there'll be a spill of that. One spray is good enough to understand how it hits. 3 or 4 sprays, you'll fall. Basically, what happened? I hear what? Then you will not know if you're dead or alive. That's also there, no? Somebody should comment. Oh,
You can't burn up.
that's actually a disinfectant used in disinfectant, and it's also used in all these farming. So if you have that farmer's license, it's good. To kill all these, to kill all the weed and all this. Weed is not ganja. Weed is you'll faint. I mean, you'll faint. In the sense, you'll become unconscious. Depends on the how me. No. It's just a small bit of it. You will feel little like kids, little dizzy. I mean, for around 5 seconds, you feel something is happening. So basically, it cuts down the supply of oxygen to your brain. That's the complete thing. So just like they do that thing in martial arts and all this, and they lock you. So cuts down the supply of oxygen to the brain, and you feel dizzy, and you won't get dizzy. I didn't fall unconscious, no. So the meaning of unconscious is you are no exact. There's no thoughts. You are in coma. Yeah, you will be like, what happened during those times? Like let's say 10 minutes. Which one initially?
Anesthesia.
Yeah.
So basically.
Coma. Coma is like huge. This is like period.
Coma, when they go to coma for like 10 years,
They won't know.
it
Wasn't it maybe like a second or something?
No. Exactly. So in the sense, they listen to whatever you're talking to. They'll be able to, they won't be able to reply back to you. But they'll understand, okay, the people came here. I went to watch Kill Bill.
But people
They'll
of
come and
Goma-
tell, no, I heard you coming and trying to kill me. Kill Bill. Quentin Tarantino movie. Yeah. Better than Warangal. They'll be like, they'll come and keep talking front of her. They'll be like, let's kill her this date. When she comes out of coma, she'll tell. I heard you guys talking. Is just that I couldn't feel my hands or legs or my brain. So to either communicate with you guys. So I could not. Doesn't mean I don't know what you guys spoke about. She'll tell each and everything. This day you came and spoke this. Next day you came and spoke this. She's very much conscious. It's just that her eyes are closed. She doesn't know how to react, but she can hear you. That's all. She can't write. She can't read nothing. But the moment you're out of coma, you will see that all her joints will be frozen. Like she won't be able to move her joints like the way she'll train herself to that. She'll be like, she'll focus on her leg. She'll be like, I'll try to move the leg. She'll start moving her toe and it moves. Then she's able to interpret, okay, this is what she did. I mean, this is what they did. So let me start taking revenge. That's the name of Kill Bill. She goes to Kill Bill. That's actually super movie. Watch it.
The people in coma, when they wake up, they say that they're able to give people's energy around them.
Yeah, maybe it's, I don't know much about it. But they said they're in coma for 5 years. They tell you whatever happened in 5 years in a glimpse, like a summary. They tell you this happened, this happened, this happened. This person came to visit me, spoke about this, spoke about this. I actually feel that their memory will be like elite at that point of time. Yeah,
So there's nothing else to focus on.
exactly.
It's just-
Like, there's no distraction.
Yeah.
So it's you're only taking in stuff whatever is coming towards you or coming about.
It's the only thing common.
Exactly. So you won't play a TV front of. People will play, but in order to get them out of coma, but it depends how you have been immune to it. No, so, I don't know much about coma patients, but research about them.
What is it? What is it?
Again, you're some random thought in the sense.
What is classified?
Physically dead.
Yeah,
How does that?
multiple things, accidents, trauma. Trauma can take you to that is an accident. That's it. Trauma, I heard, is more rooted because you are depressed and you're in coma. Yeah, that's I think that's like no.
Joy is that only.
I saw Manish today. A lot of like talking to people.
Yeah. It's nice to. I think if you take up physiotherapy, you will get a chance to talk to rape victims. I seriously, I'm not even kidding. I have people write letters. There's something called a thesis. No, you guys know thesis? Physiotherapy. Yeah, because when they are healing, once they are in the regular hospital, they won't be able to move their joints, all those things easily because they're hurt. So they tend to treat them and they talk to them. So they write pieces about that. It will be like a 4-page piece or 5 pages. If you get it online, read it. The way they explain the movement of the muscle is amazing. They'll explain, okay, left hand muscle is not able to move 100% of the time. It's only able to move when the person is out of trauma. They write this specificity. Superb it looks. It feels at least. You'll understand more as to how the human body works. Now, in the sense, you're supposed to know all these things if you're trying to animate something. Animations. Animators, I think, are better than doctors, to be honest. Talking about ortho. Because animators, when their job is to understand how the skeleton of a human works or an animal works. For example, let's say my left bone. When I'm trying to do this, it was so easy for me to do this. But in terms of animation, they're supposed to understand that I'm doing this. First layer is the deepest layer is my bone. On top of my bone, there's a muscle. There are types of muscles. And on that muscle, there's skin. On that skin, there's hair. And if there's a wind, the hair is moving in some other direction. So when you're trying to animate stuff, you realize, if you watch Life of Pi, there's one scene where the tiger roars. Okay. And very smartly, what this director does is, the tiger roars and they pan the camera towards the person. That is because there's a small glitch. You pause the movie and watch, you'll see that when the tiger roars, the gap between its eyes becomes of less. So when it roars, the muscle anatomy was not done greatly by the animators at that point of time. So in order to divert that, they move the camera to the person level. Okay. So from now onwards, if you see any animation happening on screen, you realize animators will be knowing so much about the skeleton, the bones, the muscles, their movement. Again, if you give them a surgical knife, I think they know how to operate them also. They might not know what exact medicine, but they'll 100% out of it. That's how skilled animators are. And okay, current market, I'll tell you, if you're able to pull off a 30-second animated video, 30 seconds, you can charge up to $20,000. Today's market. Okay, 30-second video. That video might be around a tiger jumping and roaring. It might be a penguin walking. Depends on the user. Okay, 30 seconds you'll be able to charge around $20,000. But the amount of knowledge is supposed to have. Work also is good. That guy who is doing animation, no, he know when the wind is coming this side, the bone has to be stable because of this moment. The muscle will go towards the left, the skin will contract, the hair on the skin will move towards the right.
Animators make
Crazy money, no, their job they won't sleep. Animator is a crazy job. It's a crazy job. You will be hired only by the greatest firms in the world. Because if you're that talented, they won't leave you. Because I mean, they're supposed to work on it. Your pay is crazy. But
what have to give your time?
Only time. Hey, friend, you're in front of the TV. You're having a pen like this. You keep moving the thing like this. The cursor, okay, left, right. And after doing all these things, it might become a scrap. We'll have to do the same thing again.
So these
Art.
people
Animation. Animators are anime is easier. Cartooning is well, like, just imagine a tiger moving is comparatively harder. Making a graphic. I can make a graphic full after that. A tiger moving it's dynamic in nature. A tiger will move with all the four. I mean, 2 legs, 2 feet. It has to move. It's crazy. Limb has to move, no? And when it moves, what amount of the tiger? If it is 2 tons, how will it react? If it is 1 ton, how will it react? If it's just a cow, how will it react? It's crazy.
making these animal movies is
The hardest.
harder than sci-fi movies like
Yeah, sci-fi movies easy to pull off if the director is actually smart. Yeah, but animation and all this, it requires. You watch.
Yeah.
The highness. So you can't expect them to just watch it. See, I can tell you one. I can't tell one random animal to walk. First of all, they won't walk, and moreover, how will you tell the animator just make the hang of it's possible. You have to observe the hyena, how is it reacting on this things. It takes about 6 months to get that 30 seconds. 6 months. So hard it is. But profession wise, it's very should like this. No animators in the room, no one animation. I don't think you're example. Alex Naira. Animation. What's it? So seriously. Might like it, no? A yellow precipitate is formed. When the aldehyde reacts with NaOI. When the aldehyde reacts with NaOI. That's the observation. Okay, that's an important note. What do you know it? No name, because it is how is NaOI formed? They react NaOI plus iodine. So it's a byproduct. NaOI plus I2O. H I comes off, I go but it's not required, that's why I didn't mean.
The distinction between alcohol and aldehyde.
Yeah. Yes, but of the H2.
Both of them should be moving on one component to fight the reaction.
No, banded is that single bond words is very important. Next one, fourth one, alpha hydrogen. Just copy this, I'll explain. Copy the exact. can I call both of them are the same? I mean, both of them are the same reactive. Check. Because this is CHO, correct? Total CHO. This is CH3, total CH3. But the reason I've written in two different ways is because try to understand here, I'm trying to explain the concept of alpha hydrogen. That's why. So first of all, what does alpha hydrogen mean? I'll explain in the second reactive. This specific thing is called as a functional group, correct? So whatever carbon is attached to a functional group will be called as alpha carbon. Agree? Now, this alpha carbon also has something else attached to it called as hydrogen. So in this case, that's the reason I wrote the hydrogen separately. So this will be called as alpha hydrogen. Mathematical how it works. Somebody start off, you first of all find the functional group. To that functional group, some carbon will be attached. To that carbon, one hydrogen is going to be attached. That hydrogen attached to the alpha carbon will be called as alpha hydrogen. Okay. Now, in simple language, what's going to happen? You will react this with one dilute basic nature, any of which is the most basic thing. Very simple to write the reaction. What does the heading say? Reaction with alpha hydrogen. So can I, whatever I boxed right now, that is called as alpha hydrogen. Agree? Only remove that part. Okay? Remove this hydrogen. Whatever is there in 1 and 2, attach them together. Okay? So alpha hydrogen, if I remove, in the first part, CH3 is there, C is there, C double bond O, single bond H is there. Here, CH2, here, CHO. One small mistake I made here. Where? 5 bonds here. If I cut off this bond, the complete link will break. Can't. If I cut off this bond, CH3 will go off. But even if I cut off this bond, won't make a big difference. So what I'm going to do, and watch it. This answer is going to give me aldol. Aldol. Remember I told you that. What is the meaning of aldol? Aldehyde along with alcohol. 1 second. Look at only the answer part. It was like this. Agree? Then you realize there are 5 bonds. We'll talk about that later. But I know that the answer has to be aldol. Meaning one aldehyde, one alcohol has to be present. Aldehyde is present here. Okay. What is missing? Alcohol is missing. Now check. 1, 2, 3, 4. All 4 bonds. H came and sat there. Which H? So in the whole concept, is something being removed? No. It is moving. What is moving? Alpha hydrogen is moving from one point to another point. So can I tell? Because alpha hydrogen had the guts to move from one place to another place, that's when this complex product called as aldol was formed. That's how it works. Now, instead of me taking CH2, I can take whatever, C2H5, all these things. Even in that carbon, what's going to happen? One hydrogen will move from one place to another place. That's all. So if the concept, if this cross happens between two of the same things, so can I name this as ethanol or methanol? It's no, avoid it 2. So this is ethanol. If ethanol reacts with the same ethanol, then it is called as aldol reaction, also called as self-aldol reaction. If an ethanol reacts with propanol, example, then it is called as cross-aldol reaction. So two same thing is called as self-aldol. Two opposite things, two different things, cross. In that also, how does it work? You will figure out the functional group first. And to the functional group, some carbon is attached. What is the name of the carbon? Alpha carbon. Alpha carbon. To the alpha carbon, what is attached? Alpha hydrogen is attached. What moves? Only the hydrogen moves. And alpha hydrogen moves to form what? Can I tell alcohol? Because aldehyde is already there here. Correct? So the formation of alcohol happens only when the alpha hydrogen moves from one point to another point, and this is how the answer moves. Okay? But even though if I left the answer like this itself, you obviously know it's going to be wrong. No, why then? How can carbon have 5? So that question is obviously going to come. So how I would think it is, attach both of them, then think something is wrong here with the carbon, take off the extra bond. That extra bond got cut off, but O can't get satisfied because whenever O goes, 2 bonds required. One is there, one more required. If I put 1 bond, who will add it to just 1 bond? H. That's how it works. Mathematical how it works? Okay. I made up. The super level.
Oh, where is the chart?
Everything probably comes there.
Yeah. Because you asked me a question, 1 second ago. Ethanol I draw. I mean, understand as to why I wrote it in a different way, because it's easy to attach. Ethanol, I react with propanol. 1 second. Propanol meaning CHO is there, I write this only. See the sense here. CHO written in terms of structure here, in terms of molecular form, so that I get safer. Okay. Prop meaning 3 carbons. Agree? How many here? CH3 and here CH2. Correct? This is propanol. Now, think for a second. Correct? Huh? 1, 2, 3. I am naming it. You tell me the second compound 1, 2, or 3. Which carbon is alpha carbon? 2. Why? Because 1 was the functional group. Attached directly is called as alpha carbon. This also will have a name, beta carbon. Whatever carbon is attached to alpha will be called beta. But here the question says alpha hydrogen. I don't care about the carbon. I care about this hydrogen. Now, if you ask me, sir, why not this one? Your wish. Now, what else can be done? Tell you. NaOH. Copy that CH3 as it is. Agree. C double bond O as it is, H as it is. Attach it with CH3 here. Correct. Attach it with CH here. Attach it with CHO. Any mistakes here? You will there are mistakes. What are the mistakes? 2 bonds can't be, 5 bonds can't be there. I cut off 1 bond, make it H. There's no mistake.
5 bonds on
Here. Take off one H. That's all. If I put CH2, I'll draw. What about this? So this H moves here. Got it? Logic is how it works. Nothing is being wasted here. Agree? This move to compensate this carbon, this sent one hydrogen. Okay. Movement is always from the alpha part. Again, this is called as cross aldol. Listen up. Aldol meaning you have to have one aldehyde, one. Agree?
everything you normally did, but you just started double bond and off.
And size of the carbon person.
What's the
Guys, write the Aviobac name for this. Beta hydroxyaldehyde. Yeah, this one. I'll tell you how. Listen, look at the answer for a second. Guys, my main functional group is aldehyde. If you ask me why, what's the product called as? Aldol. What comes first? Ald. So, main product is aldehyde. Functional group is aldehyde. So, this is a functional group. This will be called as what carbon? Alpha. This will be called as beta carbon. So, beta, right? OH is called as alcohol if it is ending. If it is not ending, it is called hydroxy. Correct? So, the hydroxy is being placed on the beta carbon. So, called as beta hydroxy. What like it works? Then some kind of aldehyde. That's all. So, the answer is beta hydroxy. You can, but since you're using the concept of alpha and beta, it's better. But that also beat world, you can do it. 2 or 3. Aldehyde. Yen aldehyde of variable. Correct? Name this. It will be gamma, no? Okay, that's it. Array, it will be some kind of aldehyde. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pentanal. Okay, that's all. Done with this? Yes. What?
23rd to November 4th. What much I got? English, maths, maths. Kannada teacher, oh, who's like that? No, he likes it. Auntie, she's saying you don't have preeti on you don't have preeti for me. Hey, Tupas,
Sure.
I slept in at last.
Oh, that one only.
Yeah, Tupas,
I saw one here, Greenagar.
right? He looks like a pumpkin.
But what do you mean by?
What question did ask? What was he doing?
He was going with a daughter.
She also looks like a pumpkin.
I didn't see.
Tupa was with you, right?
That's how I got him. This has some teacher. No one
Looks like that Halloween pumpkin. Even on Tupa.
Actually, what did you see the thing on your voice? So pretty bad. Hey, which team is this, right? Hey, which team is this?
Yeah. Fancy color.
I got it. Brazil, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
I had one Dortmund also.
Very good.
Detergent happened. They look good, sir.
Very random. So what?
Detergent full time.
So, who cares?
Looks like a plan. Is there something wrong?
You make a pattern. Self-creation. That's what I think. Thank you. Last heading. Candy Zara's reaction. Double bond, become double bond now.
They asked that.
Hey. Candy Zara's reaction. First point on that. Hey, first point. Aldehydes which do not have alpha hydrogen. Candy Zara spelling you want. CANNI double Z ARO. Not Canis arrow. Okay. Yes, sir. Right. That is our first point. Aldehydes which do not have alpha hydrogen. Second point. Undergo self-oxidation and self-reduction.
This much you can do error.
Very simple reaction. Let's see HO. Guys, focus here. Does this have an alpha hydrogen? Why not? This is how you guys write it. Listen. Not because it has alpha hydrogen. Why not? Alpha carbon only is not there. So where alpha hydrogen come into picture? Okay. Okay. This happens in presence of KOH. Again, a small note. KOH breaks down to form K plus as well as OH minus. Listen up. OH minus is your hint. Some kind of alpha has to be formed. Hint goes like this. OH you write. Count the number of C's there. How many on the left hand side? After balancing, initially 1. Attach 1 C. Satisfy this. So 1, 2, 3. CH3OH. Agree, huh? Plus. What was remaining? K plus was remaining. HCOO minus. This is not required. This one is required. Got the logic? So left hand side we had 2. We distribute 1 and 1. The first carbon goes near the K plus. Second carbon gets attracted to OH minus. Forms some kind of alcohol. The first carbon is HCOO minus with a K plus. This won't get formed there because it will be used later, and it's called as disproportionation reaction. Not required. This is important. Okay, that's how it works. Without the KOH, you can't proceed with this. Simple. And always understand Candy Zara will work only if no alpha hydrogen is present. If alpha hydrogen is present, what will work? The previous one. Aldol will be formed. If alpha H is present, aldol, alpha H is not present, then it is Candy Zara. Got it?
Where is the oxidation?
lost with this one.
But the same.
Oxidizes to form fountain, reduces to form one more. We are done with the chapter. Tomorrow's class we'll do carboxylic acids. Okay. Yeah, same time. 4 o'clock we start off, no? Because 3 o'clock is going home. Or 1 o'clock is going home. 4 o'clock is fine. Understood. 4 o'clock only will start the regular time. 4 o'clock.
Right?